Hello everyone, this is Slim Jim Cake here, and today we're going to make a tier list. Now, I've been playing Plants vs. Zombies recently, and I wanted to make a tier list of it. I have been playing for a while, but this is Plants vs. Zombies 1, if you're wondering. So I'm just going to go through all the plants for now, so I'm going to get started. I have all of them down here. You will immediately notice I'm actually using Google Slides instead of TierMaker, and that's because it makes you do weird stuff to get in an account, and I don't know how to work it and stuff, but Google Slides will just be fine, okay? So, Pea Shooter. Pea Shooter is, not that good. It is good for the beginning, but only for a little bit, and once you get Snow Pea and Repeater, there's no really purpose of using it. Maybe if you want to use it for mini games and stuff, it's not good. It's not really a plant I would use. E, because it is useful at some point, but most of the game it's not. Sunflower. Sunflower is very simple, except you really need Sunflower in every single level except for night levels, so that's an S. That's just easy to rank. You have Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb is really good. I would say it's probably the best instant kill plant, and you get it really early in the game, and it is 150 sun, which isn't, I guess it's not too bad, but also it has a long recharge, but all instants are kind of like that. I put Cherry in A. Walnut. Walnut is really good for half the game, because then you get Tall Nut later. Probably C. I mean, he is good, and if you really can't afford a Tall Nut, I guess a Walnut is for you. Except he does have weaknesses because pole vaulters and pogo zombies and crazy stuff like that. Potato Mine is also really good. It's definitely underrated, I feel like, because if you just use a whole bunch of potato mines and nothing else and sunflowers in the beginning, you can get all your sunflowers before you even focus on main attackers because it's cheap and it instant kills zombies, except it just has an arm time, but that doesn't really matter in the beginning of levels. So, potato mine, I think, is either an A or an S. I'll give it an A. Snow Pea. Snow Pea I also like, except a lot of people don't. It is kind of pricey for what it does. I'm going to put it, it's definitely better than Pea Shooter, so I'll put it in D. Chomper. Chomper really is bad. He eats zombies instantly, except he can't eat every zombie, and he also chews for so long and is also kind of expensive, and he's only good with walnut. That's the only way he's good. So I'm gonna put him in E, because I'm sure there's some strategies you can do because if you put them together. But if walnut didn't exist, then Chomper would go to F. Repeater, really good, not too expensive, lots of firepower. I used him throughout the entire adventure mode. I think I'm going to put Repeater in B. Puffshroom is really good for night levels. You can complete all the levels in night with just Puffshroom, so he's going in S. That's really powerful plant. Sunshroom, he is better than Sunflower at night, but night levels are not as common as Sunshroom because there's 3 day levels and 2 night levels. So I'm gonna put Sunshroom in A. Fume Shroom is also really good. Because he pierces through zombies, so he can hit infinite zombies at a time, except only in a certain range, and also he doesn't do the best damage. So I would put him in about B with Repeater. Gravebuster, it's the only way you can get rid of graves, but graves don't really change much. They don't really matter. I'm gonna put Gravebuster in D. I mean, there's no other plant that does stuff like him, but he just, like, you don't really need to use him at all. Hypnoshroom. I feel like Hypnoshroom is also underrated. I think in some strategies, if there's, like, football zombies and, stuff like that, maybe digger zombies, I think Hypnoshroom is pretty good. So I'm gonna, except I feel like he's definitely not as good as like a Cherry Bomb or Potato Mine or Sunshroom, so I'm gonna put him in B. Scaredy Shroom, he's good to use, but definitely not as good as Fume Shroom. He's just like a cheap pea shooter that doesn't attack when zombies get close. So I'm gonna put him in, like, for the night levels, he is better than pea shooter and stuff, so I'm gonna put him in C. I mean, I used him a lot. I think he's fine. Ice Shroom, he's just not that good. He just freezes all the zombies on the screen for just a little bit. He's really good on waves, but honestly, come on, you can complete that wave if you didn't do that. You didn't have to use that Ice Shroom, and we all know that. So we're just gonna put it in D. Doom Shroom, on the other hand, is insane. Like, so good that he's only 125 sun, long recharge, but that's alright because you won't need to use him much because he'll literally destroy everything. Definitely A, because that you need a coffee bean to wake him up during the day. But if he was a day plant, easy S. Let's see. I'm gonna move these up a little bit. There we go. Lily Pad. Only useful for fog and pool levels, so not that great. Except he lets you plant in the water, which is good. So I'm just going to say A. He's really simple. Same with the flower pot. I don't really know how to grade those. Oops. Squash is a really cheap instant, and it's basically like a potato mine, but there's no charge time, but you have it costs one more sun. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to put it in A, around where potato mine is. Three-peater. Okay, so it's like if you put a pea shooter in 3 lanes, except it saves 2 spaces for 1 extra sun. It's 325 sun. And it just saves some recharge and 2 tiles. So it's not that great. I'm gonna put it, I think, in E with pea shooter. I'm not a fan of three-peater. Tangle Kelp, I feel like you just like plant Tangle Kelp whenever you can and see how many Dolphin Riders it destroys. I feel like it doesn't really, there's no strategy to it. You just place it down when you can and it'll destroy a zombie. And it has a long recharge. I'm going to put it in C. Jalapeno, I also feel like is underrated. It is kind of like, it's a lane wipe, but it's really good for zombonis. It also, if you have ladder zombies, you can get rid of it with that. Of course, you can do it with Cherry Bomb too, except remember Jalapeno is also cheaper and stuff. I'm going to put it, definitely not as good as Cherry Bomb. I'll put him in B. Spikeweed. Spikeweed is like really OP if you combine him with like a walnut or a tall nut, because then the zombies instantly step on it and it can pop zombonis in an instant, and it's only 100 sun and doesn't cost much. I mean, it doesn't have much recharge, so you can plant it fast. I'm gonna give it an A. I think I like Spikeweed. Torchwood, I really like. Torchwood is just really good because that he just, like, makes all the peas fire unless you're using Snow Pea. Don't use Snow Pea with Torchwood because that's just a waste of sun. But it can really make some things powerful, especially if you combine it with a Gatling Pea, so I might give it an S. Tall I think I'm also going to give it an S because you use it all the time in survival and last stand and can't be vaulted over or pogoed over, and I think he has more health than a walnut. I'm not sure about that one, but he is better than a walnut, so I'm gonna put him in S. He's really good. I use him all the time, never use walnut. Here we go. Sea shroom. Zero cost, but really long recharge. It's not very good. I think sea shroomers are gonna be our first F. Plantern is alright. It's like blowover but permanent, except doesn't get rid of balloon zombies, but I feel like it can kind of be a waste of a tile. But if you already have enough firepower and you have extra tiles, then you should plant you should plant a plantern. It's only good for fog levels. I think I'm gonna give plantern a C. Because if you have balloon zombies, then might as well go with blowover though. Cactus, F. Well, actually, E, actually, because it's not worse than a pea shooter. It's just a pea shooter, except it can also get rid of balloon zombies. So I'm gonna put it in E, because, I mean, it's not worse than a pea shooter. It's slightly better and also expensive, more expensive. Blowover is really good. It gets away fog and balloon zombies, and you can use it more in the survival modes. So I'm gonna put blowover in B. I think that's good. Definitely better than plantern and cactus. It's just plantern and cactus combined, pretty much. Let's see. Split pea. It's alright. Only use when digger zombies are there, so I'm gonna put it in D. Starfruit you can also use to attack digger zombies, and if you get a whole bunch of these guys, it is insane how much you can do. It just destroys them so much. So I'm gonna put it higher than split pea. I'm probably gonna put Starfruit in B. Pumpkin is so good. It goes around your plants, so it has the ability of a walnut, but it can go on your plants. So it has double the ability, and you have like 2 plants in one. It's really good. I'm gonna put it in S. Magnet shroom, it's good, but there's not many metal things in Plants vs Zombies. There's pogos, there's screen doors, there's buckets, and there's can't even think of anything else. It's not that good. Oh, well, there's pickaxes too, but most of the time, if a magnet shroom takes a pickaxe from a miner, the miner just like pops up and eats your plants anyways. So and gets the lawnmower, which is a lot worse. So I'm gonna put it in D because I feel like it's not that good. All right, we're almost done. Cabbage pult is pretty much pea shooter, except pea shooter fires faster than cabbage pult, except cabbage pult does more damage than pea shooter, except it's pretty much evens out, and they're both 100 stun. They both have the same thing. So this is just a pea shooter on the roof. So it has catapult. So it is better than a pea shooter technically. So we'll put it in D. Flower pot just lets you plant on the roof, which is actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna put it with lily pad because that's pretty much like they're both like land for your plants. So I don't really know how to rate them. Kernel pult is like I think he's pretty good. I think he's a C because he fires weak kernels, but he can also fire butter, which can be really OP in certain situations if you team him up with other catapults and plants and stuff. Coffee bean isn't that good, but in some cases it can be if you're doing like a gloom shroom or doom shroom, either one of those. Otherwise, it's pretty bad. So I'm gonna put it in B. Garlic. That is only really used if you're doing a gloom shroom strategy. So I'm just gonna put it in C. I mean, that's your only purpose for it. Let's see. Alright, oops. Umbrella Leaf it's good for catapult zombies, but that's pretty much it, and also bungee zombies, except it kind of clutters up your strategy. It kind of gets in the way and stuff. I'm going to put it in B. It's not that bad, but Marigold sucks. That's bad. I mean, that's all it does is give you coins. Like, that doesn't help at all. It wastes your tiles. It doesn't even produce coins that fast. Melon Pult, though, I think that is an A. Melon Pult does really heavy damage, doesn't have much recharge so you can plant it quickly, except it is kind of expensive, and that's the only problem, but it can take down a Gargantua good if you team it up with a few plants. I mean, of course, not by itself, but, you know. Alright, the final 9. Gatling Pea is a super powerful punch. So, just incredibly high on the firepower. Like, double as good as Repeater, except it is kind of expensive. It's 450 sun. But I think it's worth it. I think it's good. So I'm going to put it in S. I use it a lot. And if you compare with, if you do it with Torchwood, oh my gosh, it's insane. Okay, Twin Sunflower is just like Sunflower but better, except Sunflower is 50 sun, but Twin Sunflower is 150 sun, and you have to plant it over Sunflower, so that's literally 200 sun for 2 sunflowers, and so that would actually be 4 sunflowers. So that is way too overpriced, and that's just 100 sun. That's 100 sun just to save 1 tile. So that's it. I'm putting it in D. It's not that okay. Maybe C. Yeah, C. Gloom Shroom so OP, will destroy everything. Cattail is also really good, and it homes zombies everywhere. It's the only plant that can do that, so I'm going to put it in A. Wintermelon is so good. It's better than Melon Pult because I think it does more damage. It also slows down groups of zombies and does more splash damage and can do more damage in a certain amount of time because it slows them down. It's really good, and it doesn't cost much more. It's only 500 sun with the Melon Pult. Gold Magnet is so bad. When have I ever used Gold Magnet? Goodbye, in the trash. Spike Rock is really good because he can survive 9 Gargantuar smashes, 9 Zombonis, 9 Catapult zombies. He can do anything, man, and he does double the damage as Spikeweed. Ooh, easy ass. And Cob Cannon is really good, except I've always found that he recharges his cobs kind of slowly, and also he's ridiculously expensive. He's 700 sun because you need 2 Kernel Pults to make him, and he's 500, so that's 100 for each Kernel Pult, so 200, and then 500 to actually make them into a Cob Cannon. That's 700 sun, which is incredible. But he's good. Just kind of expensive, so I'm going to put him in B. And then Imitator. Imitator is really interesting because it can imitate any plant. And it depends on what plant it is, on how good it is. But usually I use it for, like, instant kills, so you have more instant kills. Or, nuts, so walnuts and tall nuts and torchwoods. And I also use it for, what else do I use it for? I use it for, I don't know, Doom Shroom, I guess. But I just use it for instant kills and, walnuts. and stuff. So I don't think it's that good, you know? Yeah, so it's really good, and, yeah, so S, maybe a bit crazy for it. I'm just gonna give it an A. Yeah, I think S might be a little bit too, I don't think it's definitely not an S, because that you can't actually imitate the, superpowered plant. I mean, like the special plants, like wintermelon, gloom shroom, cob cannon, gold magnet. Plants that you plant over another plant, it can't imitate, which kind of stinks. But it can imitate anything else, so I'm going to give it an A. If we could imitate the powered up plants, that would be easy S. So this is my tier list. So you can let me know what you think. I don't know if you agree with me or not. Maybe you can correct me on something. Maybe I got something wrong. I don't know, because I've been playing Plants vs. Zombies for like 5 years, but sometimes I just dip out of it. I don't know. But recently I've been playing a lot more. So yeah, so maybe tell me what you would put as your tier list, but this is mine. So, bye. Subscribe, please, and hit the notification bell if you want. I don't upload too much, so there's no problem with that. You're not going to be spammed, so subscribe.